Well, hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jonathan, and this is Mr. Pearson Talks Books. I'm an elementary school teacher who likes to read middle grade books so I can recommend them to my students, their parents, and other teachers. We're going to do something a little different in this video. I'm going to take you on a weekend trip that my wife and I just went on. It was our 21st wedding anniversary. So we thought we'd go away for the weekend and do something that we both really love, and that's book shopping. So we're going to take you on our trip to go book shopping. We went out to eat, saw a concert at the park, and then came home because we're homebodies and we love being home. So I'm going to take you on that trip, show you some of the highlights, and then talk to you about some of the books that I read this weekend. Well, let me start with the two new books that I picked up. One of them I purchased. We got this at Barnes and Noble. This is called The 13 Doors of Black House by Laura Lavoie. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'd never heard of this book until I saw it on the shelf. Judging from the cover, there's clouds, there's doors. It's got like a spooky blue and black background. I mean, this just had vibes for me all over it. Let me read the back to you. It says, "Welcome to Black House, where shadows creep and a mystery awaits behind 13 ominous doors. Maya Murtaugh can't wait to spend a week at Black House, a looming seaside mansion that was once home to her favorite mystery author, Augusta Black. After a falling out with her best friend and co-writer for the school newspaper, aspiring journalist Maya needs a fresh story that will bring them back together. Black House is the perfect house to find it. But when Maya and her family arrive at the mansion, the host is totally creepy. So are the 13 doors inside Augusta Black's old office. Add in the unshakable feeling that someone or something is watching her, and Maya becomes convinced there's a mystery to be solved here. Each of the 13 doors hides a secret, but opening them leads to dire consequences, putting Maya, her family, and the entire town at risk. Now it's up to Maya to solve the mystery of the doors and uncover the dark truths of Augusta Black before it's too late." And when I saw this book, based on that description and this cover, I knew I had to grab this book because this is the type of book that I really like to read and want to encourage my students to read. I can't wait to read it. The other book, I didn't purchase this one at Barnes and Noble, and this is by no means a middle grade book, but I had a free credit from our cable company to get some specially selected books that they had put on an Amazon list, and I saw this one. It's Firestarter by Stephen King, so I thought I would grab a copy of it. This book is pretty special to me because this was actually the first Stephen King book that my father recommended that I read. It was this one, and then shortly thereafter I read The Dead Zone, followed by Carrie. So I was on a bit of a Stephen King binge back when I was in middle school. My father, he told me that he used to work as a security guard at night. And because it was so quiet in the building that he worked in, he would read Stephen King novels. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me because being in a creepy office building, reading the King of Horror, seems like it would freak me out. But he did it, and he said that these were good books for me to read. And so this is the story of a guy named Andy and his daughter Charlie, who has been gifted with pyrokinesis, which is the ability to start fires. And they're on the run from a government organization that wants to use her as a weapon. Again, not a middle grade book, but absolutely love this book. And I picked it up because it reminds me of my dad and the memory I have of him sharing that with me. So while we were on our trip this weekend, when we were at the hotel, while we were waiting for dinner, after we got back from the concert, there was lots of time to do some reading. And I worked my way through 3 books this weekend, or not necessarily through 3 books, but I did read parts of 3 different books this weekend. The first one was The Wish Giver by Bill Britton. And this is a book that won the Newbery Honor Award many years ago. And it takes place in a town called Coventry. And what ends up happening is there's a church social. It's kind of like a carnival. And this guy named Thaddeus Blinn sets up a tent where he tells people he can give them anything they want for just the price of 50 cents. Well, only 4 people come. There's a girl named Polly. There is a girl named Rowena. Rowena is very lovesick. There's a guy named Adam. And then there is Stew Meat. His name is actually Stuart Mead, but they call him Stew Meat. And he's kind of the narrator of the story. And these 4, they go and they pay. They don't necessarily believe Thaddeus Blinn can do what he says, but they're kind of wanting to figure it out. The thing about Polly is she really wants people to like her and pay attention, but she has a really sassy mouth. And she says just telling the truth, but a lot of times the things she says are not very kind. And so she makes a wish that people will like her and smile when she comes around, only to find out that maybe that's not what she wanted after all. And then Rowena is in love with the traveling salesman. And so she makes a wish that he would set down roots there in Coventry. And that has some pretty drastic consequences as things go where he puts down roots. Literally, I don't want to say any more. I want you to read the book. And then Adam and his family, they live on a farm that has absolutely no water whatsoever. And so Adam has to drive the wagon through town and fill up these big containers full of water in order to water the crops, to keep the plants, to keep the crops and the animals and everything from drying out. And so he wishes that there was water on the farm. So, and of course, you have to be very careful what you wish for, because the wish is fulfilled exactly the way it's said. And so these 3 find out that they have to be careful with their words when asking for this types of things. I love this book. And if you're a teacher, this is a great read aloud. It's a lot of fun. Kids will especially love the story about Polly and what happens to her when she makes her wish. It can add to a lot of interactive stuff. Then I picked up, they got this book from the library, started reading this one. I'm still working my way through it. And this is called Camp Sylvania by Julie Murphy. This is a story of a girl named Maggie who was told she got to go to a special camp, Camp Rising Star, and only to find out at the last minute her parents changed their mind and they are sending her to wellness camp, which Maggie really knows is just fat camp. This camp is called Camp Sylvania, and it is run by a lady who makes health supplements and has a brand new fitness routine that she's marketing. And so the kids go and they have to do workouts and they have to eat a special diet. And everything that Maggie thought her summer was going to be turns out to be completely different. Now, that does sound familiar. As I was reading it, it reminded me a lot of a movie that I watched in the 90s called Heavyweights. And I looked it up on Goodreads. I looked this book up on Goodreads, and many other people had that same idea. I'm at the part of the story now where Maggie has just gotten the lead in the camp musical because the girl who originally had the camp lead has gone missing. And then her friend, his name is Logan, he wakes up, finds him one morning, and his brother is also missing. And so campers are going missing now. I'm about halfway through, just over 100 pages left. So we'll find out what happens, and I'll keep you updated with this. And as you probably saw on the montage there, I am also still working my way through Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. This was a book I picked up because lots of guys that I follow on BookTube and on Instagram, they all have read this and recommended it. This is a very big book. It's very enjoyable if you like Westerns. Even if you don't like Westerns, you might like this. This one, again, this is not a middle grade novel. I would not recommend this to third, fourth, or fifth graders, particularly some of the subject matter in the early chapters in regards to one of the characters. But this is a great, it's very enjoyable. It is long and there's a lot of words on the page, so can be a little bit of slow reading. So hopefully I'll work my way through this. That was my weekend. I hope you enjoyed coming along on the trip with me. I hope you enjoyed hearing the books that I am currently reading and was able to read and pick up on that trip. We love going to the bookstore. There isn't a bookstore close to us where we live, so we have to make a special trip out to it. And as a teacher, a lot of times my students give me Barnes & Noble cards, which allows me to pick up new books to add to my library. So that was my weekend. I would love to hear how your weekend went. You can leave those down in the comments. And if you're enjoying this conversation or you want to know more about middle grade books, be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you can know when new updates and new recommendations and videos like this are available. Well, my name is Jonathan, and this is Mr. Pearson Talks Books. We'll see you in the next video.